Kit bashing this Hive Tyrant was extremely fun. I got an old metal body and plastic arms. I didn't have a tail, but I made it work. Using texture paint and a glue, a whole lot of glue. It helps that this model is set after being crushed by a statue and bridge. Helps very much. I also had to cut one of the scythe arms, which was sad, but like, it had to be done. I didn't have any poles, so I simply cut sprues and glued them together. Placing them in the right spot to look like they are going through Mr. Hive Tyrant was honestly harder than I thought. But it worked out. Now covering the glued area. How do I do that? I'll just make dirt using typhus corrosion. That's how. So easy to use. Straight out of the pot and just slap it on. The most upsetting part about this model hit me though. You can't have the lash whip on the right side. And you can't have the bone sword on the left side either. At this point, I wanted to quit. Then I realized, wait, I'm brain damaged. I can claim that I see backwards. Winner, winner. Finally, all put together and ready for the painting process. Undercoating with Chaos Primer is by far the fastest and most efficient way of basing anything. Do this. Do not use a brush. All the base coating I did with an airbrush. The skin, bone, not the carapace. You know, like the skin part that's like the bone. Yeah. I based that with Rakar Flesh. I swear I can never say these paint names. And highlighted the raised areas, or areas that the sun would hit, with Screaming Skull. The final highlight I used with the airbrush was Pallid Witch Flesh, just to give it that extra oomph. For the carapace I used Nagaroth Knight through the airbrush, as getting it on the bone is easy to clean up later. Using Gal Vorback Red to highlight the ends of the bioweapons, and the airbrush is done. Quick, easy, and gives a perfect start to make the rest of the journey simple. Focusing on the bone first, I went in with Screaming Skull on all the raised areas using a brush, focusing on the face and the center mass mainly. Using Pallid Witch... How do you say that? Pallid Witch Flesh? I highlighted the center of the prior highlights, making the areas pop even more than before. Man, I'm saying highlights a lot, aren't I? Okay, that is now a drinking game. Get your pot of paint and every time I say highlight, take a swig. Finishing the last step, it was now time to shade the deep recesses. This is where contrast paints are a blessing. Using Magos Purple, simply placed it in the crevices and it dries perfectly. Great color shading, minimal pulling, maximum coverage, and perfect for highlighting the main color. He said it. Take your drink. Oh, that tastes like crap. Using Xeris? Xeris, we're going with Xeris Purple, I layered the bottom edges of the carapace, preparing for the feathering stage. For feathering, I used Cowger Blue, Genestealer Purple, and Empress Children. Feathering is a weird technique. Not enough water, blotchy, too much water and you're layering. Getting that perfect mix is a struggle. Then there is getting the lines the right distance and length. I wanted the blue to be far back and pink close, but damn, I struggled. To be fair though, this is my first attempt at this technique, and it went okay. Onto the red part of the carapace, I used Corn Red to layer the top half as a highlight. Yes, that's another drink of paint water for you. Using Evil Sun Scarlet for the final third and Wild Rider Red for edge highlighting, the carapace is done. And no, I'm not counting that one. Too much paint water is not good for you. With the main model finished, now it was time for the damage. Using Castellix Bronze, I think, for the metal beam and Renox Hide for the dirt, it's pretty much finished. But not before the final fun step, streaking grime over the entire dirty area, and some Mepho to wipe away the excess. And drink, of course. Always drink the Mepho during this step, it makes it way more entertaining. Adding Moot Green into the chimneys and adding blood for the blood god on the missing scythe, this beauty is finished. And this, my brothers and sisters, is how I painted this Hive Tyrant.